What's going on, everybody? It's Triz with the Unlikely Overlander. Welcome back to the channel. And then on this episode, we're going to get the engine pulled out of the donor rig, engine, transmission, transfer case, all that. We're going to get that pulled out, cleaned off real good, and set in the other frame. And then we're going to go through it and give it a good tune-up. And then the next episode after that should be starting on the bodywork. Let me show you what we got out here. You see it's all painted up. We got some used tires thrown on there. They're not the best, but they'll do for a while. Front axle's in, none of the steering's hooked up or anything like that. I did get the gas tank put in, and I have some shocks just set on there. I'm going to have to move the lower shock mount, because you can see I don't have much up travel there. But I just temporarily hung them on there to make sure they were going to work for us. Anyway, I'm going to get you set up on a tripod. I've got the front clip pulled off the donor vehicle already. So we're going to just finish undoing a few, the wiring, undo the motor mount bolts, and it should be ready to come out. We've already removed all the drive shafts. So transmission's unbolted, ready to come out.
Okay, sit still, everybody. Don't go away.
Okay, we've got everything unhooked. I didn't have much left to take off of there. Like I said, we're doing a lot of it off camera. We're really behind schedule on this project. So I've been not filming everything, but now it looks like our trip's going to get pushed back a little bit anyway. So we're going to have some more time. But I still probably won't film every little detail, but I'll give you the highlights. Anyway, got everything ready to unhook. Dad's going to come down in a second just to give me a hand while I'm doing this. And pull the engine and transmission out together. I've got this A-frame here that Dad made. We'll put a come along on it. As I refer to it as the engine dangler 3000. So we'll hang the engine on there. I'll pressure wash it, clean it off. And then we'll set it in the frame. And then we've got more rain moving in over the next couple days. So hopefully I can get that done today, get it pulled out, washed off, and then set in that frame. And that way I can roll this frame onto the roof. Keep it out of the weather, because, chances of getting water in it are pretty good. Anyway, you'll probably end up back on tripod in a minute for a time lapse, but we'll get this thing yanked out of here. Woohoo! All right, we got that out and dangling. Took a little bit longer than should have, because I'm an idiot and forgot to pull the shift lever out. So we got that out. I'm going to put it back in to help seal that off. I've got to run down to Dad's and get a hose, because mine busted and I don't really feel like getting soaked. So I'm going to do those things and come back and we'll wash this off and hopefully get it set in the frame. Be back shortly. All right, we got the engine and transmission set on there. Engine's bolted down, transmission's not, because I'm going to separate it and check the clutch and all that while we've got it this far apart.
The next day.
What is going on, everybody? New day out here in the carport, fighting wasps and carpenter bees and all that fun stuff. Today I'm just more or less tinkering, trying to get the brake and fuel lines hooked back up from front to rear on this frame. Then I might put a new sending unit in that tank. Waiting on a couple parts to show up, so just doing a little bit of piddly stuff while I can. It's all got to be done, so. I've got a silicone hose kit coming for it'll replace all the lines on the engine. I'll be replacing all these rubber lines and stuff. It'll have all new hoses everywhere. Of course, new filter, new sending unit. So, it'll be pretty close to new. Not planning on doing a bunch of engine work to it because supposedly it's a pretty freshly rebuilt motor. So we'll see. All right, we got the fuel and brake lines ran from front to back. As far as I can tell, everything's where it belongs. Looks good anyway. I'll show it to you here in a little bit. So now I'm sitting at the back of the rig, going to take out this old sending unit. My cousin sent me a new one to put in. That'll give me a good chance to look down in the tank and make sure it's not full of crud. And that might be about it for today. It's Mother's Day. Hunter's been spending time with his mama. As soon as he gets back, I think we're going to load up and go to the movies or something. I need out of the house for a little bit. But anyway, yeah, let's see if we can finish getting... Wow, my mind went completely blank. Not that it's ever very far from that anyway. But yeah, let's see if we can get this old one out and get a new one in. All right, let's see if this turns out to be any type of view. Woohoo! Ow. I'm sure there's better methods for this. I've got a impact screwdriver. I can try and knock them loose, but they're pretty rounded out. So we'll get them started with this, and then maybe we can finish with a screwdriver. Now that one broke off. That's going to be fun. The rest of them seem to be pretty loose. This is actually the tank out of my tin top over there, because I'm going to go with the larger tank when I get it done. So it was in the best shape out of the tanks I had, at least externally. I didn't even check the one in that blue Zook because the skid plate for it is rusted in half, so I can only imagine how the tank itself is doing. Oh, this one still looked pretty dang new. In fact, I have yet to break a bolt off on that tin top, other than this one I just did on the sending unit. And that does not look that bad. They stank like old gas, though. Yeah, that tank is spotless. Look at how pretty that tank is down in there. Not a speck of rust. That's what we like to see. Alright guys, as you can see, the tank looked really good. I got that one broken bolt I got to get off of there, and I'm going to get new bolts for this because these are rounded off. We don't want to put rounded off broken bolts back in there. So I'll probably tape over this opening for now to keep crud out of it. Till we get that bolt out and get some new ones. Then it's going to be waiting on some parts, the silicone hoses, some new shock mounts for the rear I've got to weld on. I've got the ones for the front. I just need to weld those on. Get drive shafts painted up and put in. Transfer case put in. I may or may not do that right now because he is supposed to send me transfer case gears at some point. So I hate to put it in, take it in, take it out, take it in, take it out. I'd like to get that done before the body goes on. It's just whether that's in the budget to get those gears ordered before we do that. So it's, all a budget game. We just order parts when we have the money. We ain't rich. We work for a living. But hey, we're having fun. So anyway, that might about wrap it up for today. Hadn't been a whole lot going on. It's a lot of little stuff I did off camera, but I got new bolts in the engine mounts. Nice fresh bolts all the way around on that. I would put the radiator in, but I'm going to pull that timing cover off and check the timing belt real good. We're going to pull the transmission and check the clutch and the pilot bearing, throwout bearing, pressure plate, all that good stuff. I'll probably go ahead and put a new input and output shaft seal on the transmission. It looks like the output shaft seal is leaking a little bit. I don't think we need a new rear main in the engine. There's no signs of any oil leaks on the engine, so if it's good, I'm going to leave it. Like I say, supposedly it's a rebuild engine with less than 30,000 miles on it. So, and we have heard it run. That a couple videos ago, you saw it started up with minimal effort. I didn't clean the carb or anything. It fired up. Didn't run it long because I didn't have a cooling system on, but it fired up, sounded healthy. So we're gonna go with the theory that it'll be all right.
The next day. One eternity later. The next day.
What is going on, everybody? We're back from yesterday's rain delay. It's just been every other day here lately. I've pulled the gas tank back out of this because I'm going to hook up my parking brake cable, and I've got to weld on some lower shock mounts. So I really didn't want that gas tank hanging out there because it's, it's not attached to anything, so it's not sealed off, and I'd rather not blow up today. So we're going to get this parking brake cable hooked up and possibly weld on those lower shock mounts. Depends on how the weather holds out. It's cloudy and windy. I've got to do that shock mounts on front and rear. Then I'll cut the old shock mounts off of the spring plates. And then, little things like hooking up the steering. I've got to put the transfer case in, hook up drive lines. We'll be about ready to start on body work. I did move the body into the shop yesterday, so even if it's raining, we can do body work. But just, lots of little things to do. Our trip may end up getting delayed a little bit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyway, I'm going to get you set up. I'm going to lay my fat butt on the ground. We'll start hooking this thing up. Temporary pull the bleeder out of here just to give me some more room to tighten this other brake line up. Then I'll put it back in. Don't let me forget to put it back in. Because bugs are horrible this year, and it would be full of mud daubers in about an hour. Between the rain and the bugs, it's been a non-stop battle out here. Okay, so now I can take these and finish the back section of brakes. Pretty basic. That's just gonna blow away. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. I don't need to show you this, really. It's just running the brake line. I'm gonna screw these on real quick. Then we'll take a moment to figure out these shock tabs. And I'll bring you back for that. But if there's moisture in the air, I ain't welding. I'm sure I've explained this before, but I got struck by lightning right here in this carport. Not a fun experience. Do not recommend. So I don't screw around when it's raining. My fat butt hides. Cause yeah, not pleasant. I didn't even get hit directly. It just was so close. It knocked me under the car I was working on. In fact, it was that trooper. Knocked me up and under the car. Everything went white. Loud boom. And I talked like I'd had a stroke all day. I knew what I wanted to say, but my brain couldn't get the words out. It was not pleasant. All right, guys. Just like I predicted yesterday, as soon as I finished hooking up those brake lines and everything, it started drizzling rain. So definitely wasn't going to weld in that. But nice, beautiful day out here today. Finally starting to feel a little like summer. So we're going to get these rear shock mounts welded on. Hopefully get some front shock mounts welded on. And if we have time, we'll go ahead and pull that transmission off and check out our clutch and pilot bearing, throwout bearing, all that good stuff. Like I said, tomorrow, hopefully, our hoses come in. We can redo all the rubber lines on there and get our radiator ready to go on. And over the weekend, we'll put a transfer case in and some drive lines. And then that'll wrap up this video. We're going to get to work on the body. And then, yeah, once we get the body set back on, that'll probably be the last video on that for a little while till we head out to Wyoming. I'm not going to show the interior work because I want to leave something as a surprise to my cousin. We'll get that done, and then we can start on our tin top project that I'm itching to get going on. So bear with me. Let's get everything set up. We'll do a little welding. See ya. All right. Okay. We've got this down here ready to weld up. Cleaned off some of the paint there. Got a magnet holding it in place. They even cleaned off a spot for ground. Cameras all over the place. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to see if I can find a safe spot to set you up. And we'll get this welded in place. I think we'll go a bit hotter. Got the rear shock tabs mounted on yesterday. Haven't got those painted yet where I was welding, but we'll get that painted up, get the shocks on there. Haven't done the front ones yet. I'm going to end up doing that a different day off camera. What we're going to do today to wrap up this video is, this thing's still got what looks to be all original hoses on it. So got the silicone hose kit. Going to swap all those out. Just painted the brackets for the radiator. If I can get I've still got to flip them over and get the other side. But then we'll get the radiator mounted in. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. And tomorrow I start on body work. So let me get you set up on the tripod. We'll start swapping out some hoses. So what would you guys like me to show more of? I know I've asked this question a couple times, but I have yet to really get much of a response. Where our audience is growing, we've, got a few hundred subscribers now, but I'm not getting much feedback from y'all. So what would you like to see more of besides me struggling and breathing heavy? Because I'm good at that. I excel at that. I really am trying to get better at explaining what I'm doing and teaching a little bit, but I am not a teacher. I just do, and I'm still learning a lot. So these red hoses should add at least, 50 horsepower or so, right? And red, doesn't it make you faster? Yay, we got a radiator in. So that's going to do it for today, guys. I'm going to find my radiator cap that I dropped, put it on there. All right, that's going to do it for this video. We've got the radiator in, all the majority of the hoses on there. I got a couple heater hoses to run still, but I got to wait for the cab to be back on the frame for that. That's going to wrap up this video. Next video, I'm going to try and get the body work done and get that thing painted and maybe set back on the frame. So hopefully before too long, we'll hear this thing fire up again. We can ride it around a little bit. Still got a lot of work to do. I don't have my front shock mounts on, my front brake calipers and lines aren't on. Just a lot of little things. I didn't put the transfer case in on this one because my cousin said he's might have found a deal on one with gears in it already that he's going to try and get and send to me. So that'll save from having to re-gear it. Anyway, appreciate all the support. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, tell a friend. Help us grow. We're gonna, moving on to bigger and better things. I'm slowly getting better at showing y'all what I'm doing. That when I start the tin top, it's going to be very detailed at showing you what I'm doing. This I'm skimming over a lot because I'm just trying to hurry and get it done, but we will get there. So anyway, appreciate you, and we'll see you next video. Bye.